So guys, I've been wanting to do this video right here for a very, very long time. Actually, ever since I went ahead and bought the 10-year anniversary generator from the guys over at Revv. And that video is essentially pinning the G20 from Revv up against the big boy 10-year anniversary revision B generator. And when you look at both of these amplifiers, there is definitely a lot of differences in there, especially aesthetically, but also on the inside of the amplifiers as well. So when you're looking at the G20, it is a 2-channel lunchbox amplifier. It is 20 watts of power, and it has the blue channel along with the famed purple channel. And since here on High Impact Audio, we tend to focus a little bit more on the higher gain, kind of face melting high gain tones, we're going to look at the purple channel on both of these amplifiers. And then when you are looking at the big boy 10-year anniversary generator, it has 4 different channels. It is 120 watts. It is a massive difference between wattages on these two amplifiers. So obviously, yes, headroom is definitely going to play a huge role in this, but the big boy amplifier here has the blue channel, the green channel, the purple channel, and the red channel as well. So with this video, I'm setting out to make it a little bit more quick and dirty of an amp shootout where I just sit down, hang out with you guys, and check out some of the tones on both of these amplifiers. And if you are new here to High Impact Audio, my name is Chris, and we tend to check out some of the coolest and most useful things for modern guitarists that I have found on my way. So if you are enjoying this video in any way, shape, or form, make sure to hit that subscribe button before we get started here. Let's get into it. And for the guitar that I'm going to be using in today's video, this is my Deviant Guitars Reaper. And most of you will probably notice, yes, this is a 6-string guitar. So for those of you guys that have been commenting on my videos, complaining about me playing 7 strings, 8 strings, extended scale length guitars, this one's for you. And from my guitar, I'm going straight into both of these amplifiers right here using the KHE amplifier selector. So that is how I'm going to be switching between both of these amplifiers real time to kind of get a good gauge on their different tones. So let's go ahead and check out the G20 and see what we got going on there. I have all of the different settings at 12 o'clock for the EQ, for the gain, all that good stuff on both amplifiers. I have a feeling it is going to be pretty vastly different, especially with the different pot values on either amplifier. So let's dive in here and see what we have to work with. Yeah, so definitely not that crispy face melting high gain tone that I usually like on this channel, but don't worry because the G20 definitely can get that tone. Let's switch it over to the big boy, the 120 watt 10-year anniversary Revv generator, and let's see what different tones we got going on with that guy. Definitely quite the difference between the two amplifiers. So yeah, the pot values are going to be very, very different between the G20 and the 10-year anniversary generator. And something to keep in mind with the 10-year anniversary generator, what they did is they brought back that hairier, more snarly and raw distortion from the Mark I and Mark II generators that people just knew and loved. So with the G20, the distortion, in my opinion, is going to be a little bit smoother and not quite as unchained and raw. So that is really interesting. And also something that I noticed is I was thinking that maybe the headroom on the G20 would cause it to distort a little bit sooner. But honestly, at 12 o'clock on the 10-year anniversary generator, it's distorting a lot sooner. This is actually very, very interesting. Let's go ahead and kind of just dial in a tone on the 10-year anniversary amplifier, and let's see if we can match it using the G20. So first thing is first, let's get the right amount of gain on this high gain tone here. So on the generator amplifiers, both the G20 and also the 10-year anniversary revision B amplifier, there is two different aggression modes. And you can think of these as kind of like a boost in front of the preamp. So we can do the blue aggression mode, and let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, the distortion on these amplifiers are definitely super chunky sounding. And let's check out the red aggression mode. That is a pretty sick high gain tone for sure. Definitely let's make some adjustments on the EQ, and actually I am gonna go ahead and just dial back the gain just a little bit here, and let's check it out. Yeah, that is definitely much better for sure. So first thing is first, let's go ahead and bow out just a little bit of those mids. And let's check out and see what it does when I add some bass. Actually, pretty easy to dial in, pretty solid metal tone. Let's switch on over to the G20 and see if we can match that. So just like with the 10-year anniversary generator, let's go ahead and just dial in the gain a little bit here. So let's definitely boost it up. And then also let's activate the blue aggression mode, and let's see what that sounds like. Cool. So we're not quite there. It's definitely showing how smooth the distortion is from the 10-year generator here. So let's activate the red aggression mode. Man, it's just such a thick amplifier. I love what Revv has going on for their amplifiers. It sounds fantastic. So it is definitely very boomy, a little muddy in certain areas as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just bring back the bass quite a bit, actually. Let's bring it back to right around there and see where we are. So I might raise that distortion just a tiny bit more here, and then let's definitely back off on some of the mids for sure. Okay, let's switch over to the revision B and see where that is. So definitely a lot more bassy kind of tones coming out of the G20. So I'm going to lower that bass even more. I'm actually going to boost up the treble quite a bit too. Bring up the mids ever so slightly. Let me bring down the mids one more time here. I'm kind of playing around in that mid-range area just to kind of see what we have going on. And let's back off on the treble. So there is still quite the difference between both of the amplifiers. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to dial in both of them to sound exactly the same, but I have them awfully close. There's just something in kind of that upper mid-range that's going on between the two of them. But I want to show you something really cool with one of my favorite boost pedals for this amplifier, the Super Overdrive from Boss. So I just kind of recently discovered my absolute favorite boost pedal for the front of these amplifiers. I was always putting like a TS-808. I've even done the Tempest Overdrive from Ford, and I've done a bunch of different overdrives and boost pedals, and I just could not quite find the right one that really takes the cake for me. And I recently discovered the Super Overdrive from Boss, which I actually really like for boosting more chunky amplifiers, kind of like my Mesa Boogie Badlander. It works really, really good for that one. But I put it in front of the Revv generators, and I thought to myself, oh my God, this is absolutely amazing. So let's go ahead and disengage the aggression modes on these amplifiers, and then I will engage the Super Overdrive right here on the floor, and let me show it to you guys. All right, so the Super Overdrive is on. I also went ahead and engaged my noise gate pedal down here, because without that noise gate pedal, you guys would be hearing this. Very, very noisy for sure. But this is the Super Overdrive from Boss on the G20. It is mean, it is aggressive, it's snarly, it sounds absolutely fantastic. Let's check it out on the 10-year anniversary Revv. Dang, okay, that sounds really freaking good. Though I might go ahead and just bring in just a little bit more bass into that tone there. So let's bring that in a little bit more. Yeah, I think that definitely sounds much better. But you can definitely hear where the Super Overdrive just kind of levels things out, and it really brings in that nice, nasty distortion. It's not too chunky. The whole texture of the distortion just sounds really good in my opinion. I absolutely love it. Oh yeah, sounds absolutely awesome. Let me switch back to the G20 so you guys can hear it. Yeah, so freaking good. I might actually even bring in a little bit more bass and maybe back off on the treble on the full-size generator here, because I'm really liking what it is doing to the G20. And this is just kind of showing how well the G20 does, even up against the big boy amplifier here. It is fantastic. For a fraction of the price, you can get a fantastic Revv amplifier right here in the G20. And that is it for today's video. I just want to say thank you so much everyone for watching. This was just kind of a fun quick little experiment that I just wanted to kind of put together here. And I think the results were very interesting. You're looking at the different settings that I have on both of the amplifiers, and they are very different. So the pot values are very different. The distortion is going to be a little bit different. Just the whole texture of the distortion for sure. But it is showing that the G20 right up here can definitely hold its own against the big boy. That is just absolutely amazing. Yeah, the G20 has a little bit more of a smoother distortion, maybe more of a compressed distortion. And then the big 10-year anniversary is a little bit more unchained, a little bit more raw, more snarly, more hairy of a distortion. And I know there's a lot of people that really like that as well, including myself, but I'm just a big fan of just about everything that Revv puts out. They make some amazing pieces of equipment. Anyways, guys, if you have enjoyed this video in any way, shape, or form, please consider hitting that subscribe button and that like button because it helps me out a ton here on the channel. I will have a link for both of these amplifiers and the Boss SD1, the Super Overdrive, down in the description below. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. Which amplifier was your favorite? And what do you think you would use for a live show? Anyways, guys, my name is Chris with High Impact Audio, and I will see you guys next time.